Hi, now it is time to throw in the risk-free asset, which we had excluded in our previous discussion so that our description of the set of potentially desirable portfolios is complete. This set is known as the efficient frontier of all assets, or just the efficient frontier. Once again, our assumption about the preferences of the investors in our economy is that they are only concerned about the expected return and the standard deviation, and that they like expected return and they dislike standard deviation. Our explanations will be once again purely graphical. Now we can pick portfolios that will potentially contain the risk-free asset and all the risky assets already available earlier. Any such portfolio can be seen as a portfolio of the risk-free asset and a portfolio in the opportunity set of risky assets only. That is, a portfolio of any element of this set and the risk-free asset. For example, a portfolio of B and the risk-free asset. Portfolios of B and the risk-free asset will be located on the capital allocation line of B. Review the video on the capital allocation line if this sounds difficult to understand. Will our investors find these portfolios on the capital allocation line of B desirable? No, because they can consider, for example, portfolios of D and the risk-free asset instead. That is, points on the capital allocation line of D. And note that for any point in the capital allocation line of B, we can find a point in the capital allocation line of D with the same standard deviation but higher expected return. But the capital allocation line of D will not contain desirable investments either, because they can consider, for example, portfolios of F and the risk-free asset instead. That is, points on the capital allocation line of F. And again, for any point in the capital allocation line of D, we can find a point in the capital allocation line of F with the same standard deviation but higher expected return. We can continue playing this game to conclude that the capital allocation line of F will not contain desirable investments either. But what about T? Note that there is no way to find an alternative portfolio in the opportunity set of risky assets whose capital allocation line is above the capital allocation line of T. Every alternative investment that does not sit on this capital allocation line is below it. This is the real deal. Any portfolio on this line actually gives the highest possible expected return for a given standard deviation. Note what we did in this search. We moved in this direction, trying to find a portfolio of risky assets only whose capital allocation line was the steepest one. That is, whose capital allocation line had the highest slope. That portfolio is T, also known as the tangency portfolio, because its capital allocation line is tangent to the efficient frontier of risky assets only. This line is the efficient frontier of all assets. That is, the efficient frontier that one obtains once the risk-free asset is added to the investment universe. No investor with the preferences that we have assumed will want to pick a portfolio that is not on this line. From what we learned in the video on the capital allocation line, the slope of the capital allocation line of the tangency portfolio, that is, the slope of the efficient frontier, is equal to this ratio. This ratio is also known as the Sharpe ratio because it was first introduced by the American economist and Nobel Prize winner William Sharpe. Hence, since the slope of the capital allocation line is equal to the Sharpe ratio, and the tangency portfolio is the one whose capital allocation line has the highest slope, the tangency portfolio is the portfolio of risky assets only with the highest Sharpe ratio. This actually works as a definition of the tangency portfolio. Also, its capital allocation line, that is the efficient frontier, gives the investments with the highest expected return for a given standard deviation. That is, the best deals, if all you care about is the expected return and the standard deviation of your investments, and in addition, you like expected return, but you dislike standard deviation. Hence, if you are one such investor, a simple investment recipe is to put your money on a portfolio that mixes the tangency portfolio with a risk-free asset. You will thus reach the highest expected return for a given standard deviation, or equivalently, the lowest standard deviation for a given expected return. This sounds great. You might be wondering though, how can I find that tangency portfolio? More on that later. This is all for now. See you soon.